Welcome back, Jase Hintz here to give you your weekly tip. Like I told you guys last week, I was going to be here every single week and give you guys a nice little pointer on what's the easiest way for you to become a better archer or hunter in your house, out in the woods, whatever you can do. Little tiny things that'll help you hold steadier, execute that perfect shot, and become just a better all-around archer / bow hunter, or whatever you'd like to consider yourself. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is going to be your feet. The majority of the things that I'm going to be telling you are going to relate to one another and how they all piece together. The first thing, when you're shooting, most people will step up to the target. Your average hunter, your average archer, your first timer will stand up and they're going to stand facing directly sideways. So when you're shooting and you pull back, you have your arm all nice and tight here, you have the shoulder really high, and you can't stop shaking. So when you're facing the target, as you can see, it doesn't work out. You have to simply turn your front foot back just a hair so that your front toe is in line with the back of your back foot. When you pull back, you can see how right away my shoulder dropped down and you got your bone on bone on bone, and you're using the least amount of muscles that you possibly can. This is the way that no matter how nervous you are, no matter how big that buck is, or how important that last X-ring is, you'll still be able to pull off and execute the perfect shot you're looking for. Another thing, when you have your feet turned like this, you're not always going to be used to doing it. The way I was taught by my dad, we put an arrow down in front of me, and every single time I'd step up, say I'm shooting a spots round, say I'm in my backyard playing around with my buddies, he'd always come and lay that arrow across my feet at the nice little 25-degree angle here, and I'd have to shoot with my feet up against that arrow. Now, I can catch myself, going out, stopping by the movies, waiting in line, and I look down and my feet are always a little bit slanted, and nobody notices, but it's one thing that when you're in your tree and you have that big buck walking by, you can't be thinking, okay, first my feet. It's something that you practice and it'll come muscle memory. You'll step up, and as soon as you stand up, your feet are standing perfect sideways towards that deer. You'll be ready to shoot, be ready to execute that perfect shot. Another thing a lot of people do with their feet is they don't have a nice steady base. This is even, from simply wearing a nice flat pair of shoes. You're not going to be sitting here if you're a girl in high heels, or a guy, in a big old pair of hiking boots, and you're shooting for fun in your backyard. You got to practice with that nice flat set of shoes. A lot of people, depending on how your posture is, you might lean forward with your hips. You might lean all the way back on your back foot because it's more comfortable for you, but you need to figure out how you can get both feet to be at the same weight. Practice when you pull back. Have your buddy stand in front of you, and he'll be able to tell you right away, it looks like you're leaning backwards, looks like you're leaning forwards. You can tell if, the guy's standing straight up and down. It's a lot of different things. If your draw length's not right, or, you don't exactly have the perfect form that you can easily pick out, not by yourself. When I draw back and I'm leaning back, I can't really tell. It's a lot easier if someone can tell me. So that's one thing. Evenly weighted, have your feet slanted. With those two little tiny things, when you're in your tree, it's going to be a lot easier. A lot of people up in tree don't feel safe standing. If you have nice, easy, evenly weighted both feet, you'll be able to stand there comfortably. If you're confident in your stance, you'll be able to not worry about, shaking or falling or anything like that. You'll be really steady, and it'll help you out in your shot. One thing too, a lot of people lean forward and backwards on their toes and on their heels. Just make sure, when you pull back, close your eyes. Think about it. You can tell if you close your eyes a lot better if you're leaning forward or backwards than if you're sitting there with your eyes wide open, because it always looks like you're looking straight. But we all know that's not always true. So yeah, that's one thing for the week I'd like to tell you. Stagger your feet just a little bit, as you can see, and then make sure that you have evenly weighted feet. If you can't tell, ask a buddy, shoot in a mirror. Really simple things. Just always be safe. Make sure they're standing in front of you, not the way you're shooting, because you don't want to hurt anybody. I'll be back next week. I'll let you know a couple other little tiny things. We're going to start next week with the waist. We're going to talk about a level and how your waist and your steady base all around will help you become a better archer in your backyard, in here, up in that tree stand, or wherever you like to shoot your bow.